What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Indie Suitor and the JP and Trav show. It's your boy JP. And I got Travis here on my right. Trav, how you feeling today, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Just getting used to the new gig.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's time to introduce the man of the hour below us, none other than the bullfrog, as Toby Rowland calls him, Jeremiah Hall. Jeremiah, thanks for joining us today, bro. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
Appreciate you jumping on with us, man.
Yeah.
No problem.
Now I meant to ask you before we started. How do you feel about that nickname? I never heard if you had if you had any qualms with it, or you like being called, or you like the term that Toby gave you, or what?
Well, growing up, to be honest with you, I didn't even like it for real because it just got annoying. Like, my older family would always say it. I'm just like, yo, quit calling me that. Like, my name is Jeremiah. Like, just call me Jeremiah. But when Toby said it, I don't know, it just made it seem a little bit more cool because I was like, oh, somebody's like on TV or on the radio calling me this. I'm like, I got my own little nickname. So it eventually grew on me. Most people nowadays would call me the Bullfrog or J Hall. So very few people nowadays call me Jeremiah. Actually, it's actually kind of funny.
Wow.
It is funny, the context and the source of nicknames always matters most, right? It's, when it's growing up, it's family or it's kids in school, whatever. You're like, but yeah, you hear it from an announcer, or it's on TV or whatever. You're like, yeah, damn right. It's so much cooler. Like it don't matter. Like if I'm traveling or something like that, and I run into like Kanye and he calls me something stupid. He call me Buckets or something like that. Well, I'm Buckets now because that's what Kanye calls me. So, something like that. It's always the context and the source of the nickname is always what matters.
Yeah. You're gonna be Buckets for the rest of your life now. Matter of fact, I need to change your contact in your phone, like right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna change yours. You be careful.
Oh, God. Hey, so Jeremiah, real quick, man, just give everybody a little bit of a background, just of how you grew up, maybe some things we don't know about your childhood. Then go into the recruiting process. How did OU kind of come into the fold? What sold you on OU? And obviously, you can give snippets of your career, whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. Been there my entire life. Grew up for the most part playing basketball, baseball, football. Was all over the place, and actually quit football when I was younger. I think I was like 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere in that range, because I was a little fat chubby kid, and I wanted to play tight end and have the ball in my hands. But at that time, there was a weight limit for skill positions, and so I was playing offensive line, tackle, guard, that type of deal. And after my first year doing it, we come back the second year. I tell my dad, I'm like, yo, I don't want to play. Like, this ain't it. If y'all ain't gonna give me the ball, like, we might as well cut this. Like, end it right now. This ain't it. So I don't even think I returned to football until middle school or something like that. And in the meantime, I'm playing baseball. I was great at baseball growing up. I was actually so good, to be honest with you. I was pretty good. And what I did was, I'm just gonna tell you what the life I lived. When I was like 13, I think it was, or 12, another team saw me play, and I was like teeing off on them. And I think we lost to them, but they invited me down to their facilities in Atlanta. And so I go out there, try out for the team, and then next thing you know, me and my dad are driving to Atlanta every other week, or pretty much every weekend, just to play baseball. And same situation with basketball too. Literally the exact same thing happened. So we're playing this team. They see how good I am. Ended up beating us, and I get invited down to Atlanta to play basketball too. And so literally, I'm driving down to Atlanta every single weekend for either basketball or baseball. And my dad didn't care. He was like, "Yo, we're gonna get this work in. We're gonna play with the best of the best." And so that was me. Basketball, that was the EYBL Nike circuit, and then baseball, it was what was the name of the squad? Like, there's this whole facility down there. I have to come back to you guys on that one. But East Cobb.
Okay. I was like, they're tuned in right now looking for a plug. They're like, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
if you look up East Cobb, I think my team was called the Astros, but just like the whole East Cobb like baseball facility for you guys listening right now, it's pretty big, pretty legit. I actually played. My pitcher at the time was Jake Fromm, the quarterback who played
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
Georgia.
We
Yeah,
sure
he
do.
was like, he
Jake
was
from
our
State
ace.
Farm.
Yeah, Jake from State Farm. Yeah. He was our ace at the time. This kid was throwing like 83 miles per hour at 13 years old. And
Good
so,
God.
yeah. And so, obviously, he goes on to play quarterback at Georgia. But those are the type of guys that I played with. And so, I get to high school. I realized I'm not going to be 6'7", so I quit basketball after my freshman year. I didn't really like baseball anymore, so I stopped that and just kind of honed in on football. Got my first offer to NC State and UNC Charlotte after my sophomore year, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna double down and just keep on getting better. So did a little bit of track in between all that, but yeah. Let's see what happens next. Oh, Lincoln Riley. So I'll never forget the day, right? So I had a workout, and my coach set it up to where like all these schools came to see me run routes and do all these position drill stuff, and so it was like a wave of just different schools. Like Chapel Hill was there, they're light blue, so they're in the light blue shirt. East Carolina was there, they're purple and gold, so they're in the purple shirt. Lincoln Riley's there, so he's in the OU shirt. And I think it like 8 other coaches were there. So it was just red, green, yellow, blue. And I'm just like, man, like this is crazy. And a few months later, Lincoln offers me, and I'm like, I don't even think I'm gonna go to Oklahoma, so I don't even pay them any attention. But then I see they have this guy named Baker Mayfield, and he's throwing the ball to this kid named Dimitri Flowers, and I'm like, I think that might be the way to go.
Yeah.
So
You're like, I can do that.
I can do that.
yeah, I'm like, I think I might need to consider this one. So I do my research, and without even visiting Oklahoma, I had never been, right? So think a kid from North Carolina thinking of Oklahoma. What's the first thing I'm gonna think of? Like, take a guess.
Tornadoes.
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 Tornadoes and tumbleweed was the first thing I thought of. And so that's why, honestly, that's the reason why I didn't even want to go to Oklahoma. I'm like, I'm scared. Like, I'm legit scared. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I end up, looking at Baker, looking at Dimitri, and I was talking to Jay Ballware at the time, and he tells me, I think I'm in San Francisco at the time. He calls me, he's like, "Yo, you're the only guy we've recruited and offered so far at HVAC," and I'm like, "All right, cool." But then he says, "We got to offer another kid though, just in case you don't commit," and I respected that. I was like, "All right, I'm not gonna get mad. I like that." But at the same time, I was like, "Yo, if I get this offer taken away, I don't know where else I'm gonna go." So I went ahead and committed while I was in San Francisco. Hadn't even been to Oklahoma before, and relied a lot on faith and hope for the best. And it's probably been the best decision of my life so far.
That's what's up, man.
I love
That's
it. No, that's cool. It's kind of funny. It's almost Hollywood-esque when you describe it as you did. You remember the colors of the shirts and everything like that. That's what Hollywood does. Is like they have a bunch of contrasting shirts, and that's who they represent, and whatnot. No, that's really cool. So, what was your first impression when you got to Oklahoma? I mean, obviously, you didn't get swept away by a tornado. So, what was really like? Describe your first day on the Oklahoma campus. What surprised you? What didn't surprise you? What did you like? Tell us about that.
Well, this wasn't my first day on campus, but I will say I'll never forget us driving by a storm shelter. They don't have those on the East Coast. And then my mom was like, "Look, Jeremiah, look, like it's real." So I thought that was pretty funny. But my first day on campus, man, I think I had to walk like 15, 20 minutes to the other side of campus. So where Headington is. I'm walking all the way over to the music department and the science.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I did a lot of that my freshman year. And man, I was just trying to keep up. Like my schedule, the amount of work that it would actually take to be successful, not only in the classroom, but in football, surviving Schmitty. I think I threw up like 3 times my first week with Schmitty. He was not a fan of Jay Hall, let me tell you that. He was not he was not a fan of me, and it sucked too because me and Trey Sermon both had this problem. Like our allergies were terrible for the first 2 months. Like our body wasn't adjusting as quickly as compared to like the guys from Texas. So every day we come in with like a stuffed nose, can't breathe, and it was just I don't know what it was, but it was just our body like just adjusting to
Yeah.
Oklahoma, I guess. So we weren't doing too great our first few weeks there. Um, I'm working out with Rodney Anderson, Baker. Like there was no freshman group when you graduated early, and so that was just part of me trying to keep up. Man, I was tired all the time. My days would start at 5:30 and wouldn't end until 9:30, and it was overwhelming. So, but eventually I catch on. My parents are calling me like 3 times a day. I'll never forget. For my first month on campus, my dad literally called me 3 times a day. Like after workouts, in the middle of the day, and before I went to sleep. My dad was worse than my mom, and it was weird because he had never been that clingy to me ever before. Like even when I left, he was just like, go do your thing. And yeah, that was a change. And then my mom was the complete opposite. So like me and my mom, I kind of grew up with her, and we'd always talk and have these conversations. But she was the one not calling me so much. Like she was trying to give me space, but in the end, she ended up giving me too much space, and I think she was like kind of depressed for a little while. So that was probably one of the first times like I actually missed, like really really missed my family, and I had all this stuff adjusting and just was struggling. That was my first time actually facing struggles and in my life. So, but obviously, time goes by and I overcome.
Are you an only child?
Nah, I'm the oldest of three,
Okay.
and yeah, I got a brother who's 21, and a sister who's right behind him. So, but the thing was, everybody's life kind of like revolved around me. My sister, she was like the water girl.
Mhm.
Um, my brother, he ran track, but after he was done with track, he would come over and watch us, practice, and everybody would come to the games. And so I wasn't the only child, but at the same time, I was like the centerpiece, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like the old days, the oldest determines everything. Who
Yeah.
who was your first, would you say? I mean, obviously, coming from Carolina and not really having any idea about Oklahoma and whatnot. A lot of these Texas guys went to school with each other and competed against each other in different camps and in high school ball. Who would you say were some of your first friends on campus in the football program?
Definitely Trey Sermon because he was my roommate and he's from the East Coast. And so I'm like, yo, you're the closest thing I got right now. So
Right.
um, Trey was definitely a first friend. Dimitri, obviously, he hosted me on his official. And it was crazy because I got to meet a lot of the people that I knew uh, through Meech. So a lot of my friends became older people. And Emmanuel Beal, I got to hang out with him a lot. And I'd say those were the three main guys that I connected with when I first
I'm
got
a,
there.
I'll pop a question quick that I saw a little earlier. When somebody in the comments asked, when did you go bald?
Ah man, so I went bald spring 20. That's when I crossed my fraternity. So I started. I'll never forget this. Right. So in 2019, I got a low cut. I think it was 2018 and 2019. Right. And excuse me, the barber was cutting my hair, and he was like, "How low do you want it?" I was like, low. I kind of want to start over. And so midway through the haircut, he stops and he's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! You don't say 'oh' while you're cutting somebody's hair, right? Like that's like a no-no. Like that's a sin."
Yeah, you don't do
And
that when you're tattooing. You don't do it when you're cutting
yeah,
somebody's hair, surgery, nothing. Like, oh,
surgery, yeah, yeah, that's a bad look. So I'm like, "Yo, man, what's up? Like, what's good? You mess up?" He's like, "Nah, man, Father Tom might have caught up to you." And I'm like, "What you talking about?" So he hands me the hand mirror. He's like, "Look." So I'm looking at the crown of my head right here, it's super duper thin, and oh my gosh, I start shedding tears, and I'm like, no, like this can't be it. I thought I would make it out of college, and I was getting mad because my dad. I used to always clown my dad about being bald, and he would be like, just wait. And so I think for a year and a half, I put like dye in my hair,
Oh no.
and yeah, but it was killing me because I was always self conscious about it. You know, you can't do that and play football and wear a helmet all the time. Like it just, it doesn't work out. I'd always be messing with it. So when I pledged my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi, in spring 20, and our tradition is to shave your head. It's kind of like a fresh new start type of deal. And I just stayed bald ever since. So yeah, my dad went
Maybe
bald when he
maybe that
was.
maybe that's why your dad was calling you so much, is because he was waiting for you to be like, "Hey, by the way, I went bald." He was waiting. He's like, "You've been
Yeah,
clowning me this whole time. I'm gonna be on the phone with you when you go bald. I swear."
I know, man. He went bald when he was 22. I was 21, so I didn't even beat him on that part.
Oh, brutal, dude. It's great. So I had to ask my barber. I was like, "Man, you got to be real with me, because when, like, especially when you have braids, because I used to have braid. I know it's weird. I used to have braids, so they're really tight. So when you undo those, like your hair is pulled out, right? When they're pulling those braids.
Mhm.
Well, when you have long hair, when you lose it, you can see them, right? So I was like, dang, I feel like I'm losing a lot of hair. I asked my barber, I was like, dude, be honest with me. I'm like, you notice my hair getting thinner? He's like, no. I was like, you promise? I was like, I was serious about it. I was like, dude, are you serious? He's like, dude, I would tell you, I promise. I was like, all right, cool. So, but I was, I mean, I wasn't fully there, but I've had that feeling before where I'm like, oh my God, am I going bald? What's going on here?
Yeah, man. Ever since I've gone bald, though, like it's just a relief. Like I'm happy now. I take pride in it. People tell me I'm look good. People like me now more than when I had hair. Like girls tell me like, yo, like you're cuter now than when you had hair. I'm like, hey.
Hey, there you go. There you go. I'm gonna shave mine then. Let's
Step
go.
on them. Step on them then.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome, dude. So,
Uh,
talk to us. You are obviously very passionate about your fraternity. You'd mentioned it just now. Can you tell us about how you got involved in that and why that was important to you?
yeah. So Rodney Anderson plays Q. I think my freshman year, and I had always had Omega men in my life. So one of my coaches in high school, or actually two of my coaches in high school, they've always been good representations of them. And then anytime I had to go to a HB, a historical black college in North Carolina, they're everywhere, and so they've always had a positive image in my mind. And then Chance Sylvie, he pledged, and then I'm like, yo, like these seem like some cool dudes. And then I had a conversation with Rodney one day, and I respected Rodney a lot. Like my freshman year, I think Rodney was. I think I looked up to him more than I looked up to Dimitri. Like there was just something about him that he did everything right, like on and off the field. And then one day he told me, he was like, "You'd be good for it." And then after he said that, I'm like,
Done.
I think I agree with you. I think I'm I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, man, he told me that, and I took his word as gold. And a couple years go by, I have the opportunity to test it out, see what it looks like, and stuck to it. So
Nice.
probably
Nice.
another good decision I've made. I've met a lot of people through it, so it's been fun.
Man, you're batting 1,000 when it comes to it. Go bald, join a frat, man. You killing it. You killing it. So I
Yeah.
touching on that, given you're talking about Rodney Anderson, you're talking about, obviously, you're one of the OGs of kind of, at least this past year, and everything like that. And it's, you know one of the early Lincoln guys, like Bob recruit guys, and then,
Mhm.
so it's kind of interesting. You have a different perspective. Are there any NFL guys currently that you keep up with and talk with a bunch, that maybe talk throughout the season, or catch up with in the off season, that you might have played with at OU?
No, not really. These guys kind of go Hollywood after they leave. They don't really want to pick up the phone. So it's uh, yeah, nah, not really. I mean, I love those guys. Matter
Is
of fact,
that
no, I talk to
Okay.
Mondre every now and then.
Okay. Mondre, man of the people, seems like. He did sign an OU jersey at a
Yeah.
Patriots game.
And
That was pretty
Creed.
dope.
And Creed. Mondre and Creed. I talk to those two. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Now, see, now we're getting the honesty. Well,
Yeah.
That's
they're all too
crazy.
Hollywood, but then Mondre and Creed. So you better not get Hollywood on us now. I mean,
I think I'm just salty because I haven't got any of them on the podcast because they've been so busy, and I don't know if they're telling me the truth or if they're actually busy. So I'm just like,
yeah, but
we'll find out.
you've been getting heavy hitters on the podcast though. I mean, Dylan Gabriel's a big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Hopefully, I can keep that up. There's some behind the scenes stuff with that as well. So
He did.
hopefully, yeah.
He didn't rat out our lunch spot, did he?
Oh no, not at
Good.
all. DJ's cool. I like him. He'll be
Oh,
great.
he's great. No, he's great. No, I'm a big fan of his. Man, that's awesome. So, talk about again to talk about NFL and whatnot. How does that combine process work? How do they reach out to you? How do you is there contact registered? Does a guy like Drew Hill have much to do with that process? Tell us about a little bit of how that process goes.
Yeah. So from the very beginning of it all, you don't even think about the NFL until after your junior year because that's when you become eligible. So after your junior year, you go to Drew and you ask Drew, you say, "Hey, can I get a grade?" And typically Drew will just find you and tell you your grade. And they'll tell you first round, second or third. And if you're not second or third, then they'll say, go back to school. So that's literally all they tell you. They say first, second or third, go back to school. And so I asked Drew after my junior year, and he was like, you got to go back to school, and I was like, okay, cool. I anticipated being a fifth year guy anyway, so I wasn't even too hurt about it or anything. And so then there's that, and then so you just keep getting better, balling, that type of deal. No contact with scouts or anything, and then that's the only time you get a grade, by the way. So after your senior year, you can't ask for another grade. You're only and I guess anticipation of your grade would be what Drew hears from the guys that he knows. So Drew will ask like
Right.
some scouts that he's close to, and he'll say like, this is what I've gotten. And Drew told me right before I left, he said your average right now is like 5 and 6, and a lot of sixes, few fives, few sevens. So probably the average was like 6, and so that's how you kind of find out. And then in terms of agents, this is how I did it, and this is how I think most guys should do it. But I was just blessed to be put in a good situation. So Trey Sermon had a manager, right? He had somebody help him through his process, and he connected me with her. And she is my saving grace, man. She told me and my family, she said, "Hey, look, things are gonna get hectic for you guys here soon. Jay Hall, I have all the faith in you in the world to make the Senior Bowl and get a pro day and combine invite, that type of deal." And she said, "I need you to make a separate email and have any scouts that contact you send their information to this email. I need you to give your parents and me, the manager, access to this email, and we're going to be the only ones to communicate with these agents. You're not going to talk to them ever." And so I was like, okay, cool. I trust my mom. I trust my mom the most. Like everything my mom says about me is damn near 100% right on. Like this lady's always right about her son. And I was like, okay, cool. Mom's on it. I'm good. So they literally went through like 15 agents throughout the entire year. I didn't talk to any of them, and they got me down to my last 3, and then I just chose from there. And I kept it smooth. I kept it simple. Some guys they try and just pick and choose and hope for the best one. Some guys they ask like, "Hey, like who's your agent?" and then go like that. I think K9, like during our bye week, he had like 12 agents come in, and he went through all those 12 in one day. And I'm like, that's not me. So
Yeah.
that's how I chose my agent. And then from there, it's just a waiting game until your last game. I didn't sign with my agent until right after the Alamo Bowl. I think it was like 1:30 in the morning because he has to start, that paperwork to fly me out to Denver, start paying for stuff, start getting stuff set up, give me like a stipend so that way, because the school doesn't pay you or anything. So that's how the agent process goes. That's how mine went.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's dope.
Tattoo said you should have done a top 3 edit from Hayes Fawcett, like everybody does for their top 3 schools, but done the 3 agents, had them all
Yeah,
edited, standing there in a boardroom or something like that. Would
yeah,
have been dope. Would have been dope. I'm gonna start doing edits for every decision I make. It's gonna be money.
yeah. Put
I
it
would,
on Twitter. I'm blessed to be putting this opportunity here on my three, three biggest
Hashtag
agents.
AGTG. Blessed and
Hashtag
honored.
respect my decision.
and I was telling Jeremiah before, I'm trying to hook him up with some good spots to eat if he has any free time when he get up here for the combine. So I know it's a decent process, but
Yeah, I don't know how
um,
much free time I'm gonna get, man. They told me
that's what,
today I'm probably gonna be in the hospital for like 6 hours just getting MRIs and X-rays. Like,
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah. It's a whole process, but I mean, Indy's a cool city. They host things really well. There's a decent amount to do downtown. I mean, it's not a Chicago or a LA or anything like that, but you can't get in too much trouble. But
hmm
hey, one thing we've been doing, we did it last week with Sam. We had Sam Mays on here, and so we asked him, hey, what's your best in game story? That joint was crazy. That's what everybody was talking about. That's their favorite part. Was he was telling the story where he had how many broken fingers he said he had, Trav, that in one play. What was it, like 3 or 4, something like that?
Yeah, he had like broken ribs, broken fingers, like all this
Yeah,
stuff. Like, because the guy in front of him, he was a freshman or true sophomore or redshirt rush, and he was like, he had never played in a game before, and he was right across from somebody who would go on to be a 13-year NFL guy, and there was nobody behind him, and it was just like, hey, I'm just kidding. He gave up like what 5 sacks or 6 sacks or something
yeah,
he was like
yeah,
I was
work.
just getting abused. He's like it was bad. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what's your best in-game story? Not about you just getting your ass kicked or anything, but
Oh snap! Like just in general, like high
Yeah.
school and college.
Well,
Well, no. Actually,
probably college.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you. I'll probably tell you my favorite one for college. Shoot. Oh, you did a story on this one. It was when I headbutted Beamer. Y'all remember
Oh
that?
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yo, what's crazy about that is I didn't even know. I didn't even know. So what? It's the first touchdown of the season. Jalen Hurts' first touchdown, my first career touchdown. And come back to the sidelines. You all know the story. Um, Beamer apparently gives me this huge hug, and I'm just so happy. But I didn't know he hits my head because like everybody's hitting my head. I'm like, please stop. Like I don't like concussions. So
yeah, I never understood that part of football players, like everybody slapping each other in the head right after, like,
yeah,
dog, like stop it. Like,
yeah, I
and
hate that. I'll sometimes walk the other way just to avoid all that nonsense because I'm like, bro, like that's just extra. So, but the kicker was though, Beamer, this man disappears for like 2 or 3 drives because normally we always meet up with him after every drive and he'll ask us what did we see, what do we like, what he sees, that type of deal. And he goes missing. So we're like, where the hell is Beamer? Like, what's going on? So he comes back with these stitches on his head, and I'm like, yo, what happened? He's like, what did you do? You're not even on the field. He's like, like it was you. I'm like, Beam, like it wasn't me, like, bro. I would remember headbutting you. He's like, nah, man, it was definitely you. So I'm in denial, right? The entire game, we're whooping Missouri State or whoever it was, and we're going back and forth the whole game. I'm like, Beamer, like it wasn't me. Like if so, like I'm sorry, but it was. If it was me, it was your fault. So we go back and look on the film. OU does a story on it a few days later, and I'm like, man, I did hit him, but it was his
like,
fault
I
though, because
am so sorry.
he came in like super strong though. He was like, yeah, J Ho, boom. I'm like,
Yeah, I remember that. That was
I'm wearing
crazy.
a helmet. It's still your fault though. So,
He
but that's
came out
probably
super
like the
hard.
craziest thing that's happened before though.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
that's funny.
I remember one time. No, it was last year, the Texas Tech game. I got worried that you were about to break your neck. You remember that on the goal line
Oh
when
yeah, when
you flipped over that dude, and I thought, I thought for sure, bro. I thought for sure you had broke something in your neck or your back. I was freaking out.
yeah,
I was
I
like,
got a good
yo,
old friendly push from Ely. That was Adrian Ely. That was cool.
Yeah.
People still ask me about that. Oh, this past year versus Texas, my allergies were like killing me before the game. Like I was coughing. I had a real bad cough and I was draining. And people always, Braden has talked about on the podcast about how, Texas was walking up the ramp, OU was running, we felt like we had momentum even though we were losing. Apparently Caleb gives this crazy speech that I didn't hear. I missed. Lincoln Riley gives this crazy speech. I didn't hear. I missed. Um, I guess I'll tell the whole story. I'm in the bathroom, um, taking a shit. Right, like I'm on the toilet, but I'm coughing so hard. Right, you can only imagine what happens next. So I'm sitting there with my pants around my ankles, using number two, and then I gotta throw up because I'm coughing so hard. So I'm literally butt in the air, butt naked. Coach Riley bringing it. He's bringing it up too. By the way, he's like, "All right, guys, come on, like we gotta go." And then I missed it. Like I missed the run back outside. I'm literally still throwing up, and Coach Riley's like, "Hey, who's in there? You all right?" And then he like look, Coach Riley like 6'3", 6'4". He looks over the stall. And he's like, "Oh, Jay, you good, Jay Hall?" And then I'm throwing up so much I couldn't even respond. So he's like, "Yo, Scott, come get Jay Hall." Like, Scott's our trainer. And if you want proof, just go back after halftime during the Texas game. I'm normally on kickoff return. We received the ball in the second half, but I wasn't out there. So if you want to go look for proof, go pull up the game real quick. You'll see I wasn't in front of the kick returners. I think Jackson Sumlin was out there, and he had no idea what to do. But yeah, that's probably one of the craziest moments ever.
Hey, that reminds me of another thing. What? Yeah,
Dude, I don't think anybody doesn't believe you. I don't think anybody's like, nah. I think he'd definitely make up that story about himself to look cool. So I think we're gonna check him out. That's hilarious.
That story is wild. So why were you? Here's my other question: why were you late for the senior day festivities? Because I was at the Nebraska game. That was actually the one game I went to this year. I flew down. Trav was on the field with some recruits, too busy to hang out, But you like everybody else was there, and we were all like, we saw your parents, and we were like, "Yo, where's Jay Hall at? Like, it's about time to start." And then you come running out like almost right before they start. So that made me think, was the same thing happening? What was going on?
Nah. I actually, I make mistakes just like everybody else. I wasn't paying attention. They told the seniors to stay out. I went back to the locker room and was chilling. I was literally just sitting there on my phone. I was like, well, I guess they're going to come get me. And Chip Bonnie, he comes out. He's like, "Yo, J Hall, where you at, J Hall?" I'm like, what's up? So I pop up, put my helmet on, run out. But it was actually pretty cool though, because when I ran out, I got like a little ovation, and some of the I don't know who it was, but some girls was like, "We love you, J Hall," and I was like, "Oh my god, I feel so loved." So yeah, I just wasn't paying attention, man. It was kind of cool though. I'm glad I was late.
Yeah, it was a dope scene for real, for sure. Oh my gosh. Hey, we're gonna move on real quick to another quick segment we'll do, and then we'll do our questions or Q&A time that we do with the guys in the chat. So obviously we know that the defending national champion OU softball team opens up tomorrow. And so, we wanted to talk about it just a little bit on the show here tonight. Jay Hall, maybe get your opinion on the girls team. And, I know some of them pretty well. And just, what you think they're going to do this year. And then we can drop a score prediction at the end for tomorrow's first game.
As long as my girl Jocelyn is at the helm, I think they're going for it all again. National championship all the way. Who they play tomorrow?
It's some small school. Let me look. I had it pulled up on my phone.
I bet they put up 15 plus. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
It's UC Santa Barbara. UC Santa Barbara. So they play tomorrow.
I don't even know. Yeah, nah. A lot to a little. That's my prediction.
Aren't they the banana slugs?
I don't know what their mascot is, man. It's like somebody with a hat. It's weird.
Y'all remember those y'all remember those old university hats, the white hats that just had the script across the front? Like that's where so many like South Carolina, because it just said like Cox, like the Canes one, the Miami one was always popular, but those old university, I'm pretty sure Slugs was one of them. I think it was UC Santa Barbara, but they're the Gauchos now. Yeah, Gauchos now, but no, yeah. So how fun has it been? I know it's been really cool to see a lot of the football players at the basketball games. Do you think that's going to continue across other sports? I mean, obviously, a lot of the football staff like Venables and Javelin and all those guys are at the basketball game tonight. Um, do you see that becoming, especially, in this, I don't know, new, especially social media era and things like that?
Yeah.
Do you see the football team really giving full blown support during those games as much as you see like basketball and things like that? Because obviously you got the Jada and Billy Bowman connection. There's another, I forget, there's another person dating a softball player too, but I forget. But anyways,
Yeah, I think that's great, man. I wish I was a little bit more like that, except I didn't post it on social media or anything. And I think Danny Stutzman, he's doing a great job of just getting guys there, posting it on
yeah,
social media, being himself, being the goofy kid that he is. I wish I did a little bit more of that because we didn't when I was there, or at least pre-COVID, like the other sports didn't really mess with each other like that. The only reason I'm cool with the softball girls is because a lot of them came to FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and that's how I got to know them. But outside of that, we didn't really do too much, and so I think that relationship across sports is special, and I hope the guys do continue to show up to the games, post. Caleb Kelly, he's posting a lot. Like I already talked about Danny, and I hope the rest of the guys catch on because that's how you just get to know people. That's how you build those lifelong friendships. People will see you around. They know you're a friendly face. They'll come up and talk to you, and you just make even more connections. So I wish I did a little bit more of that. I'm proud of those guys. Those are the guys that are continuously showing up and showing love and support. So that's special, and I wish I had a little bit more of that.
do you ever, being a former baseball player, do you ever see yourself throwing out the first pitch if you're asked to come back and throw out the first pitch of a game?
Oh yeah, I cranked this thing back up now,
Oh
Trav.
yeah,
Hey,
oh
hey,
yeah.
hey, they can put somebody at the plate if they want. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I need you to go. I need you to go full underhand, man. We're going softball here.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. I'll do it both, baseball, softball. Oh, I don't know about softball, but I'll try. I'll
Man, it
try.
got real cocky there for a minute. I'll do whatever. Well, except that other one. I don't know.
Yeah, yo, I remember. I think my freshman year, Nicole Mendez took me down to the batting cage one time, and she pitched me a couple balls, like we were just messing around. And I will tell you, I respect softball players so much because it is way harder to hit a softball than it is baseball. I don't know if you guys know that, but it
Yeah.
is
Well, I
extremely
was it.
difficult.
Wasn't it? Was it Jenny Finch that was in like a baseball, like a showcase, like on All Star Weekend or something like that, and was just mowing dudes down, just like, sorry, you can't hit this. Like that's crazy, especially with how close they are to the batter's
Yeah,
box. That's what's
yeah.
crazy is like you're right on
I've,
top of
I've
them.
yeah, I've learned that when the girls touch 70s, that's like 95 plus for
Oh yeah.
baseball. I'm like, whoa. So yeah, I don't want that smoke. Honestly, I think not too long ago on Twitter, I was clowning about how we could me and Brady could take them on. I'm like in the back of my head, I'm tweeting this. I'm like, I'm over here bullshit. I'm lying. Like this
You're like, uh-oh. I hope nobody calls this bluff.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, what? Tell us a little bit now that obviously we had to get our softball plugs in there. Give respect to
Mhm.
the ladies; they definitely have earned it. Anybody that is going down to the games, let me know. I definitely want to head down to Norman. I'll be spending a lot more time in Norman. It sounds like so. So I'd love to go catch games and whatnot. But talk to us a little bit about your kind of your Senior Bowl experience. I know we were excited. Everybody was excited for you when you got the invite. Talk to us about that, and then kind of what the week had in store for you.
Yeah, so as soon as I get there Sunday, man, we are busy all day. I get there around 1 o'clock. I have all these tests. The Wonderlic test. I don't know if you know about that, but weigh-ins. I'm getting tested for my psychology test. So like each team has like these weird questions that you would never think to ask anybody, but they're just
It's kind of like
you know
it's kind of like a pre-combine feel, right?
yeah, exactly. It's the
Because
same
that's what you
thing.
do at the
So
combine, right? You do the Wonderlic, you do the interviews, you do the measurements, you do all that kind of stuff. Okay.
yeah, so day one, I think I take at least 3+ hours worth of test. Um, I get fitted for my pants and everything, and really, it was just a long day, man. Like no football related stuff. It was just didn't even see the coaches or anything. So long day, but really, we're the longest day was definitely Monday because we were back up at like 6:30 in the morning for activities, and then we're busy throughout the entire day. But this is where I got set back a little bit. So we meet with the coaches around 4 till 6, 6:30. That's when we get the playbook, go over all the plays, assignments, that type of deal. Then right after that, from 7 to 11:30 at night, we meet with 16 of the teams, and we go through all these interviews for what's that, 3.5 hours. Then we have to go back to our rooms, learn the plays. So I'm up till 12:30, 1 o'clock. Then we got to wake back up at 6 a.m. for breakfast. Uh, Meetings, that type of deal. Then we have to go practice. So I'm like functioning off of 5 hours of sleep. We do the exact, well, not the exact same thing, but a similar thing the next day. And the next day, every day is long, it's fun, that type of deal. But by the game, man, by the end of the game, I think I went to sleep at like 7:30 that night. That's how exhausted I was. But it was cool though. Just I was busy. I was always tired, but it was cool just being surrounded by the best of the best. I get to see guys like Charlie Kolar. I played him like what 4 or 5 times over the past 4 years. It was my first time actually having a conversation with him. TJ Pledger's back.
Yeah,
Grant Calcaterra was there.
I'm glad not having to deal with Charlie Kolar anymore. That was bullshit.
I'm telling
Yeah, I
you,
know.
bro. Man.
It was crazy because he'd always talk about how like the Sooner fans would be like, man, we should have kept Charlie, and I'm like, and he'd be like, man, like I don't care about that social media stuff. But I see him. I see Petrie for Baylor. Another linebacker for Baylor, I think 23. And just all these cool guys that I played against, I've never had a chance to chop it up with. That was cool. My coach was cool. My running backs coach for the Jets, he was cool. I wouldn't mind playing for the Jets actually. They were in the same offense as San Francisco. Juszczyk is in that offense, so I like him. Matt Salah's cool, the head coach, or not Matt, but Salah's cool for the head coach for the Jets. I was just surrounded by a bunch of great people. In terms of my performance, I didn't start out as fast as Perry on. It took me a minute to get going. I think the third day and the game day were my best days. But overall, it really took the offense a few days to get going, like as a whole, because we're still trying to learn the plays. And while you're learning the plays, you can't play as fast compared to the defense, who only has like 3 or 4 calls. Their stuff doesn't change, and they're playing a lot faster than us. But by the time offense gets rolling around, we're good as a team. I get better at my one-on-ones, and the Senior Bowl really showed me that I can play and have success in the NFL. So I came in nervous, overthinking a little bit, but once I got comfortable, um, I just let my light shine, man. I did what I do here, or did here at Oklahoma.
I remember you talking to me about that and kind of talking about how kind of Lincoln's play calling or just the way that the targets were spread out. A lot of the passing downs and whatnot went to your co-host, Mr. Willis. And you wanted it, you told me you wanted a chance to prove that, hey, you can do that stuff too. Do you think that gave you ample opportunity to do that? And or are you thinking, hey, is that really on your mind going into the combine? Like, hey, I really want to show my hands. I want to show I can be versatile. I'm not just a blocking tight end or anything like that, or blocking fullback tight end type.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to show as much as possible. I wanted to get carries. I wanted to come out the backfield, show some routes. I got some routes at the end line, tight end position. I wanted to show them that I am valuable in every way on that football field, and I think I did a pretty good job of that. I ran a lot more routes out the backfield, just to show them that I could. I didn't really do that at Oklahoma, but I was like, you know what? I know I can, so I'm gonna just go ahead and show them that I can. Whenever we did drills, anything with catching the ball, I didn't have a drop. Um, So I showed them my hands were clean. I wish I had more carries in the game just to show them that I had a little bit of vision. But I did my best just to put so much on display because like all the tight ends there are like 6'4" plus, except for McBride, which is crazy because he won the tight end national award. But so I'm like, hey, they can be taller than me and they can catch too, but are they gonna block like me? And you're talking about a receiver. They can be faster than me, they can catch like me, but are they gonna block like me in space? Or if you're comparing me to the running backs, hey, like they may be faster than me, they may tote the ball more, but are they gonna be able to run routes out the backfield and as good as me? So I'm just trying to show everything, man. So I feel like I did that, and hopefully my draft stock went up a little bit because of it.
Good, good. And speaking of carrying the ball, our running back room, due to some questionable decision making, got a little light there. At OU this past year. Um, did you ever throw your name in that hat and tell DeMarco, hey, you know what? Give me the rock. I'll line up back there. I mean, obviously, we saw that with Dimitri Flowers. I think it was the Tech game that he ran it up on. I mean, we've seen Oklahoma, H backs, take over for that running back role and do some damage. Did you ever throw your hat in that ring? Did you ever want to approach that?
Yeah, I always made sure to keep a good, healthy, positive relationship with DeMarco, whether it just be seeing him in hallways, saying what's up, making jokes with him on the field, like that type of deal. Because I knew that would pay off in the back end, and it did. DeMarco always tried to get me one. Like he always tried to get me one, and I respect him for that because some coaches, they'll be like, all right, yeah, I'll get you one, and then I'll be like, all right, whatever. But like DeMarco
Yep.
actually, he always made an effort to at least get me one. So I do. I think I got a few carries on the year. K State, I got one and did good with it. I had a jet sweep on that same drive, I think. Um, he messed with my emotions though against the Oregon game because I wanted one during that game too, just because it was my last game. And me and Kennedy were always making jokes. I'm like, yo, like we might mess around and switch just for one. And I had a QB sneak, in like a third and two or fourth and two. And then I came back to the sidelines and DeMarco was like, yeah, that's your one. I'm like, yo, that's it. The
You're
QB
like, that's
sneak.
not my one. You're like, that's not my one.
Yeah. But he was like, yeah, that's all I can get you. I'm like, all right, whatever. But yeah, no, I love DeMarco. He's definitely one of my favorite coaches.
Dang.
I love that.
Dang. Hey, let's move to a time of questions as we start to close out here. Go ahead and drop some questions in the chat, y'all. Like I said, save your questions until we do question time, until we say it, because if you start spouting off questions at the beginning of the show, that's 40 minutes ago. I'm not scrolling all the way back up. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it.
While they're populating that with questions, have you looked at or talked to teams that you think their scheme fits your skill set or your position? Obviously a bunch of different offenses are run in the NFL. Have you targeted a couple teams? You've already mentioned the Jets because they run similar to what they run in San Francisco. Do you have a few teams that are kind of in that same vein?
Yeah, just a couple. I haven't really dove into the offenses yet, simply because like these offenses change from year to year, and so I'm kind of just waiting until things die down to actually look at that. But just talking with my agent, the Browns is a realistic place that I could end up. Yeah, never been to Ohio, so um,
You've never been to
Browns is
Oklahoma
one.
before either, and it worked out fine.
Yeah,
So
so
Give
yeah,
Baker
the
some help.
Browns is one. Detroit is one. Another realistic one is I think Tennessee. Tennessee is on my list. The Chiefs are on my list too, but they already have a few guys there, and I don't think they're going to get rid of them. But I'd say those three are the top ones right now. The Browns, Tennessee, and I think I'm missing one.
You said Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, Detroit. So not my favorite places in the world, but shoot, if you're gonna pay me a meal, then I'll go wherever.
Right. Exactly. Here's a good first question to start off on. Which comeback was better or maybe harder? Maybe what was your favorite one out of the two of the Baylor game in Waco in 19 or this year's Red River Shootout?
Definitely the shootout. Simply because I was involved a little bit more in that game. You know, I had the trick play down the sidelines, tried to hurdle somebody. That was cool. And then just the Cotton Bowl is just always going to be fun. I don't think I've had a Cotton Bowl yet that's just been straight through, just flat. But yeah, definitely the Red River Shootout, just because like I got more touches. It was more fun. The drama made it cool too, being having Caleb in there as well. So yeah, I'll remember that one a little bit more.
Another question we had was, what was it like being on the other side of Perryon and Brian at the Senior Bowl?
Stayed out of his way. That's the best answer I can give you. Yeah, now we practiced against Perryon. Most of the time the play didn't work, but I wasn't putting hands on them. That's not my job. We don't go fullbacks against D linemen. We go fullbacks against linebackers and safeties. So yeah, didn't put hands on him at all or see them. My favorite game. I think Tattoo Baker just DM'd me on Twitter like a few minutes ago. That man is active. But honestly, just the Cotton Bowl that I was just talking about. I'd say that and the Alamo Bowl. The Alamo Bowl simply because it was special. For me, it was my last game as a Sooner. Bob, I spent a lot of time with Bob during that week in San Antonio, and that game made it even more special because I got to know him a little bit more. We had a lot of activities where the captains and the head coaches were involved, and so we had a lot of good conversations, cracked some few jokes. Oh, speaking of, I can let the cat out of the bag now. He's done coaching. Y'all remember that statement I said about Texas not having a bowl game or something like that?
Yeah, on the Riverwalk. Yeah,
yeah.
The rally on the river.
Yeah.
That wasn't my idea. Those weren't my words.
Were they Bob's?
Yes.
That man's a legend. He's a legend.
That wasn't my idea at all. That was literally all Bob, word for word. He just couldn't say it because he's the coach.
We got a couple hundred people in here, so not everybody may know what you're talking about. So give us the little recap real quick.
Okay. So the night before, right? I think some of the players went to the San Antonio game, and then when they put them on the big screen, I think the crowd booed them, and so I was like, "What's up? What's up with San Antonio booing my guys?" And then I said, "I know we're in the Longhorn State, but I don't see very much orange around." And so I looked around, and I was like, "Oh, they must be at their bowl game." And then the whole crowd went crazy, and then Twitter was blowing up. And so, yeah, that was all Bob though. So he came up with that.
Man, it would really be nice to get Bob, a couple rock and roll tequilas deep and really ask him about what went down with him and Lincoln, his conversations and whatnot. Oh man, that would be. I hope it's in his memoirs. We got to get that story.
Yeah, maybe in like a few years, I'll see if I can get the inside scoop for you guys.
Hey, I appreciate that. If you can make time for us, I hear you NFL guys go Hollywood.
Not I, not Jay.
That's what they all say. That's exactly what somebody who would go Hollywood would say.
Hey, look, Trav, if it makes you feel any better, I've been answering DMs all day from people on Instagram, so I'm still trying to,
And look at you go.
Show love.
Even answering my text messages. Look, don't change my name to Buckets. After that, I'm going to stop texting. That's funny. That is funny.
How's that shoe game looking? Yo, man, I don't spend very much money on shoes. As a matter of fact, I think I'm wearing Uggs right now. So
oh,
they comfy though?
Yeah, no, they comfy, man. In Denver, it's cold out here. So yeah. I
You
don't I
you
don't
need
I
to
don't
bring
buy
them to Indy with you
Jordans
too, because it's cold up
or
here.
yeah, I don't buy Jordans or anything like that. I think during the Rose Bowl, I spent like $400 on some Jordans, and that was like the last time I ever did something like that because I got no pleasure out of it. Like I didn't. It made me feel I was more stressed about the money I spent than the happiness I got from it. So I was like, never again, you know. So yeah, I wear Vans, Converses, beat up shoes. I don't care. Pressed on the younger guys to build on their career at OU. Ask questions. Ask questions about everything and use your resources, man. There's guys like Roy Williams out here. There's guys like me who are urging to get back, who want to give back. But some guys just don't ever make that contact. And so I know they have a lot going on. Trust me, I've been there, done that. But you just got to make an effort, to just soak it all in, soak it up like a sponge. Because you're only in college for so long. You're only getting free tuition for so long. You're only getting free food and free this for so long. And so you just got to take advantage of it. And there's plenty of people like me, like Roy, like Caleb Kelly, like Patrick Fields, that'll give you the answers that you seek. And so that's what I press on to these young guys.
And now Chip's only like 20 minutes away from Pat. I talked to
Oh
Chip a
yeah, no.
little. I talked to Chip a little earlier. I was like, man, I can't wait to be out there with y'all. Get the gang back together.
Did you talk to Grant Calcaterra during Yeah, I talked to Grant. Actually, we were supposed to get an interview with Grant during the Senior Bowl because I knew you guys would
Oh,
want it. And,
yeah.
everybody would be like, oh, Grant Calcaterra's back, yay. And I was like, yeah, but Grant, I texted him before we got there. I was like, yo, I got to get an interview with you. But we just never got the time to do it live. But I guess I'll tell you guys that are on. He'll be on the podcast here soon. So just wait. Give me some time.
Hey, man, that's why you log
Yes,
into
sir.
that's why you tune into the JP and Trav show. You might get a sneak peek into the prairie, the pod on the prairie lineup. That's what
Yeah.
that's what everybody's on here wanting, anyways. They're just wanting scoops on they want scoops on your show. They don't care about ours.
Yeah, we probably just gonna have to pick up some of these views later because I was expecting this to be our most viewed show, but I think most of the people are tuned into to OU beating Tech right now. So we still got a decent amount of people in here, but I think Oklahoma, the basketball team is over there beating up on Tech a little bit. So
Oh yeah, that is right. I forgot about that.
Man, we needed one, man. We needed
like
one
water to
in a
breathe, man.
bad way. We needed one a bad way. We've got a couple more questions popping up here. We got a few more minutes on the pod. So
Yeah,
sorry to hold you late, Jay Hall. I know you're a hardworking
Oh,
man
good.
getting trained up. So got a few more questions. JP, you want to get them going?
yeah.
Considering the fullback position, are you focusing on special teams assets you bring to the table? I'm focusing on everything, Brandon. I'm just trying to find ways to make myself valuable, like I was talking about before. But yes, I am definitely focusing on the special teams aspect too. That's something that I went hard at during the Senior Bowl last week because I knew some of the guys, especially when we got into the game, they'll loaf a little bit. But I went hard during the special teams period too because I wanted them to see that I can do that. I wasn't going to take it lightly. So I'm gonna try and get on the roster, make a roster, get paid in any way I can. So
Speaking of special teams, obviously Beamer Ball has become famous. Talk to us a little bit about your relationship with Coach Beamer.
yeah, Beamer is the best coach I've ever had. And I don't take that statement lightly simply because he's just one of the greats, man. What makes him great is he's a great people person. Like similar to Bob. Bob knows how to talk to people. Bob knows how to relate to his players. Beamer does the exact same thing. And when you're put in a situation like that, especially as a position coach, it makes you want to go even harder, not only for yourself, but for your coach. Cause you're like, yo, like he's poured so much into me, not only as a player, but as a person. He's made me better for it. And I want to make sure that I don't mess up. I want to make sure that I go just as hard because he went hard for me. And so I actually thought about transferring just because of that. Like I thought about leaving OU just for Beamer. I didn't really care. At the time, I wasn't even thinking about Lincoln. I was like, forget Link. I'll go play for the headman. That's how much I love Shane. But obviously I ended up staying in the long haul. But yeah, I would definitely go work for. Honestly, I'd probably go work for Shane before I go work for Link.
We love it. We love it. That's a
Yeah.
popular answer on this
Sooner Nation would have
channel.
known that. Yeah.
And I knew you had told me that. I was going to see if you were going to say it, publicly, that you were thinking about going down to the real USC down there, South Carolina.
Yeah, no, that's no knock. That's no knock on Lincoln. That's just I have a more personal relationship with Beamer. You see, he posted the picture of me and his running back of us at the Senior Bowl. I don't know if you saw that, but
Yep.
yeah, no, I love Shane, man. Love him.
No, he's going to do big things, man. And I think even with Spencer there and Stogg and those guys, like, it makes it so easy to cheer for him now.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be tuning into a lot more South Carolina games than I ever have before. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But
I love
we'll have-
OU and all, but I can definitely see South Carolina winning a national championship with him as the head coach. So, but don't get me wrong. I do love OU.
Yeah, I was about to say now you're going over the line. Saying you choose him over Lincoln, that's one thing. Now we can stop it there. We're gonna edit.
Yeah.
Get this edited. JP, edit this real quick. All right. Back to the questions. We got a few more, obviously, that want to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get about 2-3 more questions in. I got one that we're gonna end on. I think it's a pretty good ending one. Here's one that we you talked about that a little bit earlier. Did you ever ask for a Wildcat package?
No, I never asked because we actually had one. We just never used it. We had like a couple of plays out of it, but it was more so trick plays. I never ended up with the ball, but I did catch it, but I'd always pitch it off to somebody else, not much faith in the H-back, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm playing. But yeah, no, I never asked because I knew it wasn't gonna happen. So I was like, let me just stay my lane.
Right.
Do you see yourself ever coming back to OU after the NFL, like an analyst? I have no desire to come back to OU as an analyst or as a GA. If I'm gonna come back to OU, they're gonna hire me as a position coach in some way. If I have to go to a smaller school first, like DeMarco did, and then make my way up to OU, I'll do that. But yeah, no, you're not gonna make me a GA or analyst or anything like that. I do like the soul member though. I do like what Caleb's doing. Not as hard in terms of the hours, and I don't know if he has to be in school or not. But I know as a GA, you have to still take classes. I have no desire to take classes.
Yeah, I don't think you still have to be in school because with Curtis Lofton and those guys, I don't think he's in class.
Yeah. No, I'll come back.
And how cruel would it be to be like, hey, Caleb Kelly, I know you've been here for a decade going to classes. Hey, you got to be a member of this team and you still have to be in classes. He'd be like, dude, come on, man. I'm taking all the classes that they have here. I'm good.
That'd be hot.
Yeah, no, that's not me. But I can definitely see myself coming back to OU. I don't know if it would be in a permanent role, but I could definitely like come back over the summer and help out, work with the freshmen, answer questions, that type of deal. But I don't know if it would be a permanent role.
All right, here's our question. I thought it'd be good to end on, and then we'll get out of here and get some sleep.
Cool. You play with some greats at OU. Who has been the most inspirational to you in your career? Inspirational, I'd definitely say Baker. Baker, outside of OU on social media, that type of deal, the world hated him. They thought that he was cocky, especially after that Kansas game and all this other stuff. But Baker, he cared about the people in his locker room, and that type of attitude, I think, brings you success, no matter what the people think of you outside of the locker room. And that's how I approached my leadership. I didn't care what people said. I could care less about Colin Coward or hey, whatever his name is, and all these analysts, and even the coaches. I'm a ride for my guys in the locker room, and that's the type of attitude that Baker had, and that's what I tried to instill into my guys.
That's dope, man.
And I had interrupted, like I tend to do. I'm sorry. One of these questions, it was, what do you see? So it's, I think it's Carson Corey. There you go. Sorry about that, Carson. What do you see yourself doing after football is done?
Yeah, so hopefully I make enough money from football to where I can do whatever I want. All I'm asking from the game is maybe like, at least 10 mil. If I can walk away with 10 mil, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But no, I want to make some type of organization or a nonprofit to help kids in terms of health and finance. So that's on the go. And another thing is I trade on the side. So I've been doing that for like a year and a half, and I've been pretty good at it. So if I can, make money from that and just hold on to my NFL money, never have to work for anybody, do whatever I want in terms of like the organization I was just talking about, I think that'll be good. That's what I want to do.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, hey guys, thanks for joining us tonight. To everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys being out here, man. Jay Hall, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show, man. It was amazing having you on, for real.
No problem, guys. I appreciate you all having me on. For those of you, if you're still on and you want your questions answered, feel free to, just DM the podcast or go into the comments. Podcast on the Prairie. You guys know we'll get back to you. And appreciate the love. I feel like I know I'm a fan favorite at this point, but it still doesn't feel real. So anytime somebody says, they love J Hall, Bullfrog, that type of deal, it makes me smile. So I thank you guys so much.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're excited to have you. Hopefully you can come back on as you maybe post combine or post draft and see what's going on. We'd love to keep having you as kind of a regular guest and update us throughout your whole young and exciting career.
For sure, I won't go Hollywood on you. I got you.
I will make sure. I'll make sure you.
You got my number.
I know exactly. You better not change your number. Well, cool, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for all you guys that tuned in, especially you guys that engaged, asked questions, things like that. You guys make it a lot of fun to have these guests on, and especially asking such great, engaging questions. We'll look to get old Jeremiah back on. And JP, you got anything you want to add? How's the beautiful bride? How's she doing? She healthy?
Yeah, she's healthy, tired. Jeremiah, so you updated my wife is about 32 weeks pregnant, so we're about to have a baby girl here in about a month and a half. So she's been on bed rest since Christmas though. So she's just been chilling at the house bored.
So basically, Travis, what he's saying is he has to go to sleep, and it's time to wrap this thing up because he's tired.
She'll sleep. He can stay up. She'll sleep.
Yeah, no, she good. She watches the show most nights. Actually, she's so supportive, man. I love her to death. She's been through a lot, but now she doing well. Just bored, the years. But I tell you said what's up like normal. And Jay Hall, you a favorite of hers too, so I'm sure she appreciated what's up from the man himself too.
Yeah, tell her I say hey.
Man, no doubt. I will. Hey, if you need anything in Indy, I'm up here. Just holler. For real,
I got you. If I got some spare time, I'll hit you up.
Let me know. Hey guys, we appreciate y'all being here. Stay tuned for next week as well. Trav, you got one more thing? Or are you just saying bye?
I was waving.
Oh, you was waving. Okay.
Like waving bye.
All right, y'all.
Waving
bye. Boomer.
Sooner, absolutely. Thanks, guys.